Prime Minister Mark Carney looked Canada in the eye last night and made a promise. I'll always be straight about the challenges we face and the choices we must make.
Calm, cool, collected. Keep calm and Carney on isn't just a slogan, it's a way forward. But Carney broke the first rule of politics, Dave. He told the truth straight to the camera.
Whew, imagine that. Then he added, it's time to swing for the fences, just like the Jays did to get into the World Series, like a coach before the ninth inning. Carney said, we used to build things in this country, and we can build them again.
It's probably the first time a prime minister has compared fiscal policy to a baseball game. And he actually pulled it off.
Carney's address wasn't fiery, it was deliberate. It was the kind of steady leadership that Canadians have been craving.
And he didn't sugarcoat it either. Many of our former strengths, based on close ties to America, have become our vulnerabilities.
So in plain English, the era of depending on the US for everything from autos to aluminum is over.
And he's right. After what feels like years of Trump's tariff wars and 51st state nonsense, Canada is finally drawing a line.
The pitch? Diversify, invest, and rebuild. Because the hinge of fate, as he put it, will turn on what Canada does right now.
And this is a hinge moment, when the future literally hangs in the balance. Our economic strategy needs to change dramatically. Our relationship with the United States will never be the same as it was.
Tariffs on autos, steel, lumber, investment chilling, threats to our sovereignty, enough. You know, his fix is to diversify fast, build faster, and be honest about the cost. It will take some sacrifices and some time, he said.
He spoke to Canadians about his upcoming 7-day Asia push, a November 4th budget that aims to double non-US export, and a reality check. The goal is ambitious, to double Canada's non-US exports within the next decade, bringing in more than $300 billion in new trade. It's a bold swing at reshaping where our prosperity comes from.
And Carney's not starting from scratch, luckily. The groundwork's already being laid. A major trade deal with Indonesia, an artificial intelligence pact with the UAE, defense and trade arrangements with the European Union, and critical minerals partnerships with Germany. Canada's also reopening doors with the giants, India and China, after years of tense relations.
And next up is Asia. Carney's boarding a plane for Malaysia and South Korea, hitting 2 summits in 7 days to pitch his new Canada, a confident, independent, and ready to lead its own kind of economic future nation.
The Prime Minister's message boiled down to 3 simple words: protect, build, empower. It's the backbone of his entire plan.
So let's start with protect. That means safer communities, stronger borders, and a real investment in security, including 1,000 new RCMP officers and 1,000 new border agents. Carney's also promising tougher bail and sentencing laws, plus the largest boost to defense spending Canada has seen in generations.
Then next comes build. That's about cutting red tape and getting big things done faster. The new One Canadian Economy Act is designed to remove internal trade barriers between provinces, while the Major Projects Office will fast-track national infrastructure. Everything from nuclear power and LNG to carbon capture, critical minerals, and new trade corridors. In the first wave alone, that's more than $60 billion worth of projects already on the table.
And then there's the Buy Canadian piece, a policy shift that means when the government orders new homes, ports, rail lines, or defense equipment, those contracts will go to Canadian suppliers first. That's Canadian steel, aluminum, lumber, and technology being used to build Canadian projects. It's about keeping the jobs, the innovation, and the money right here at home.
And finally, there's empower. That's the people side of the plan, making sure Canadians have the tools to thrive in this new economy. He pointed out that tax relief has already gone out to more than 22 million people, but now it's about scaling up that opportunity.
Expect new apprenticeships, expanded skills training, and a national talent strategy to grow the next generation of scientists, engineers, and innovators. There's even a retooled immigration plan designed to match newcomers to Canada's real labor needs, so the system works better for everyone. Now that's something Canada desperately needs.
Now, let's talk about the numbers, because Carney's plan isn't just slogans, it's math. The upcoming November 4th budget will split government spending into 2 buckets: operating and capital. It's a simple but powerful shift. The goal is to balance the operating budget within 3 years by cutting waste, streamlining bureaucracy, and basically getting better value for every dollar.
And to prove he's serious, Carney launched a 60-day review of red tape across departments, and it turned up nearly 500 new ways to cut duplication and speed up approvals.
But he's also clear that balancing the books doesn't mean slamming the brakes on progress. The capital side of things, that's the big stuff that builds the future. It will keep running full steam ahead. That means major investments in housing, ports, railways, clean energy, and defense. That will keep going. The idea is to tighten the belt where it counts, while still laying the foundations for growth.
Of course, it's not just the economy that Carney has to balance, it's Parliament. The Liberals are still 3 votes short of a majority, and this budget will live or die on whether the opposition decides to play ball or play chicken.
So yesterday, Carney spent his morning meeting with Blanchet and his afternoon with Pierre Poilievre after already sitting down with the NDP and the Greens earlier this month. The goal of this? To find common ground, or at least convince someone to stay home when the vote is called.
Government House Leader Steve McKinnon said there are no guarantees yet, and if the budget fails, Canadians could be heading to the polls again before the snow melts. We talked about that in yesterday's video, and you can check it out right in the links below.
But inside the Liberal camp, the tone is actually confident. They're betting that Canadians, and maybe even a few opposition MPs, understand that this moment isn't about party politics. It's about building a future that we can actually afford.
Beyond the numbers, Carney made it clear that this isn't just about economics, it's about identity. He said Canadian values are an economic asset, and he's right. Stability, diversity, and trust in our institutions aren't just nice words. They're competitive advantages in a world that's growing more unpredictable every day.
And investors notice that. When countries are divided, unstable, or corrupt, capital looks for a safer home, and Carney's betting that home can be here in Canada. He reminded Canadians that our electricity grid is already 85% clean. We're sitting on 34 critical minerals, and we've got the workforce and expertise to power the clean economy of the future.
He called Canada an energy superpower, and it's not just because of oil or gas. He's talking about nuclear, renewables, and the new industries tied to things like carbon capture and AI infrastructure. These are those sectors that can fuel jobs, growth, and sovereignty all at once.
But he didn't shy away from the hard truth. Inflation may be cooling and housing starts are rising, but life is still too expensive for too many Canadians. And Carney's warning is simple. If we don't act now, those pressures will only grow.
Which is why this pivot matters. It's not about walking away from the United States, it's about standing on our own 2 feet. In his words, we have to take care of ourselves because we can't rely on one foreign partner.
And that's the whole through line of the whole speech. Confidence without arrogance, independence without isolation. A Canada that plays to its strength and knows exactly who it is.
And what really stood out in his speech wasn't just the policy, it was the tone. Carney didn't sound like a politician trying to score points. He sounded like a leader trying to build a team. He promised Canadians, we will work collaboratively with our colleagues across the aisle. We won't play games, we won't waste time, and we won't hold back.
And that line really hit hard because it's so unpolitical. No slogans, no spin, just clarity. He followed it with a rallying cry. We will do what it takes. We will play to win. We will bet on Canada and all Canadians. It's rare to hear that kind of conviction and humility in the same sentence, but that's exactly what he delivered.
And he didn't stop at government teamwork. He asked all of us to step up, get involved, look out for each other, look after each other. Fortune truly does favor the bold. It was part pep talk and part challenge.
But the message was simple but powerful. Democracy isn't a spectator sport. Whether it's joining a trade, learning a new skill, or showing up to a town hall, this moment calls for participation, not passivity.
That's what keep calm and Carney on really means. Stay steady, stay focused, and stay engaged. It's not blind optimism, it's determination.
The way Carney framed it, this isn't just another policy cycle. It's a turning point. The hinge of fate will turn on what Canada does right now, he said. And he's right. The world's shifting fast, and the choices we make in the next few years will define the next few decades.
He also reminded Canadians that we're going to have to change how we do some things, but never who we are. That's what separates his approach from the fear and division we see south of the border. This isn't about shrinking, it's about growing stronger on our own terms.
The US changed, the global economy changed, and now it's Canada's turn to adapt, not by clinging to old habits, but by betting on our own ingenuity, our own workers, and our own future.
And that's the essence of his promise, to be straight with Canadians, to make the tough calls, and do it without the games or the grandstanding. As he put it, we won't play games, we won't waste time, we won't hold back, we will play to win, we will bet on Canada and all Canadians.
And that's the kind of message you don't hear much anymore, right? Confident but grounded, hopeful but honest. And maybe that's exactly what Canadians need to hear right now.
Because this isn't just a government plan, it's a national challenge. Build at home, trade abroad, and remember that what makes this country work has never been luck. It's been grit.
So yeah, keep calm and Carney on.
And if you believe Canada can build again, hit like and share this video so other Canadians can see it.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and join the A-Team for behind-the-scenes extras. Plus, yes, our Keep Calm and Carney on merch will be dropping today in our merch store.
And if you missed it, check out our last video where we talk about the dangers of calling an early election. Check it out because it sets up why this pivot matters.
Hey, remember, let's stay Canada strong and let's swing for the fences.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching.